Eleanor is 68. She lives alone. Her husband passed away 2 years ago, and every Sunday her daughter calls. The question is always the same. Are you being careful, Mom? Eleanor knows exactly what that question means. She hadn't fallen, but she'd noticed things. The pause before stepping off the front step. The hand that reached for the kitchen wall when she turned too quickly. The moment at the supermarket when a trolley clipped her and she felt, just for a second, genuinely unsteady on her feet. She chalked it up to age. Most people do. But what if that assumption was wrong? What if those moments were a signal the body was sending, and she and you have been ignoring? In the next few minutes, you'll discover 5 movements that directly retrain your body's balance system. No equipment, no floor work, and no gym. Eleanor decided to find out. And here's what the research told her and what it tells us. Most people do not realize that balance isn't a fixed state. It's a skill the body actively maintains using 3 systems working together at all times. What the eyes see, what the inner ear detects, and what the feet and joints physically feel, telling the brain exactly where the body is in space. After 60, all 3 lose sensitivity if they aren't regularly challenged. A 2024 review of 155 studies confirmed that targeted balance and strength training measurably improves postural control, gait stability, and fall outcomes. The evidence spans decades. It is consistent, and it points clearly in one direction. These 5 movements work directly on all 3 systems. But before we begin, please note that everything mentioned in this video is based on credible research and has been reviewed by qualified health professionals. Stay near a sturdy counter or chair throughout and move at your own pace. These movements are gentle and suitable for most beginners, but if you have a specific balance condition or a recent injury, check with your healthcare provider first. Now let's begin. Movement H1. Tandem stance, one foot in front of the other. That's it. And yet most people over 60 discover, the first time they try it, just how much work it takes to hold still. That effort is the point. The sensors in your feet, ankles, and joints, that is, your proprioceptive system, quietly lose sharpness after 60 if they aren't regularly challenged. Research confirms this decline begins noticeably from age 60 and starts before muscle weakness sets in. So to perform this, stand next to your kitchen counter for safety. Place your right foot directly in front of your left foot so that your right heel is touching the toes of your left foot. You can also leave a small gap if you need to start there. Imagine you're standing on a straight line, like a tightrope walker. You can rest your fingertips lightly on the counter for reassurance. Now hold this position while looking straight ahead. Instantly, you'll feel for your feet making dozens of tiny, rapid microadjustments to stay upright over that narrow base. You'll feel it in your ankles, your lower legs, and your core. That subtle effort is the brain rewriting its internal map of gravity. A 2024 longitudinal study found that tandem stance time directly predicted fall risk over the following 6 months in older adults. The longer they could hold it, the lower their risk. It's one of the most well-researched fall predictors we have. So, if this feels too difficult at first, simply leave a small 2-inch gap between your heel and toe. One hand on the counter is completely fine. Build your hold time gradually as the position begins to feel steady. Movement T2. Single leg stance. This one looks deceptively easy. It is not. The gap between how long we think we can stand on one leg and how long we actually can is often the most honest measure of where your balance system currently stands. The hip stabilizers and ankle complex are the structures most responsible for catching a stumble before it becomes a fall. This movement directly strengthens them, and the vestibular system, which is the inner ear's contribution to balance. Research has shown that balance training can restore vestibular function in older adults, with the effect described as equivalent to winding back the body's balance age by up to 10 years. 10 years. So stand near the counter. Slowly lift your left foot a few inches off the floor, balancing entirely on your right leg. Just an inch or 2 is enough. Keep your chest tall and your shoulders relaxed. Rest your fingertips lightly on the solid surface, if needed. Hold this stance for 10 to 15 seconds, then switch sides. When you lift that foot, you cut your base of support exactly in half. Your ankle muscles, your hip stabilizers, and your inner ear are now working in perfect harmony to keep your center of mass perfectly aligned over a single point of contact. Feel how alive that coordination is. The same 2024 longitudinal study found single-leg stance time was equally predictive of fall risk as tandem stance. Both measures of how long a person could hold a balance challenge were directly linked to falls in the following months. So, to keep it safe, let your body manage the balance, but keep your hand close enough to touch down instantly if you feel a heavy sway. Build from 10 seconds toward 30 seconds per side over weeks, not in one session. Movement 3. Sit to stand. Getting up from a chair is one of the most fall-prone moments in an older adult's day. Yet, most people never think to practice it deliberately. That's exactly the problem. This movement strengthens the quadriceps and glutes, which are the primary drivers of standing, walking, and climbing stairs. When these weaken, every upright movement becomes less secure. To do this movement, sit firmly on the edge of a sturdy, non-rolling dining chair. Place your feet flat on the floor, hip-width apart. Without swinging your torso forward or using your hands to push off the armrests, press firmly through your heels and rise smoothly to a full stand. Pause now. Reverse the movement. Take a full slow 3 seconds to lower yourself back down to the seat. The lowering phase of this movement matters just as much as the rising. This movement directly builds the lower body strength that makes standing, walking, and climbing stairs feel controlled rather than effortful. Decades of data identify the speed and ease of a chair rise as one of the most accurate predictors of long-term physical independence. Practice 5 of these every time you get up from the sofa. The daily repetition is where the real gains come from. But if your knees feel stiff or your lower body feels weak while doing this movement, go ahead and rest your hands lightly on the chair arms for an initial assist. The goal is to gradually reduce that hand assistance over time, not to eliminate it on day 1. Movement 4. Heel raises. Your ankles are the first structures to respond when the body begins to lose its footing. They're also the most neglected, and most people never train them until something goes wrong. This movement changes that from a standing position in under 2 minutes by targeting the calf and ankle complex. When these are strong and responsive, the body catches a stumble almost automatically. When they're weak or slow, a stumble has nowhere to go but down. To perform this movement, stand facing your counter with your feet parallel and a few inches apart. Place your fingertips on the counter for light balance support. Slowly lift your heels and rise onto the balls of both feet. Hold that peak position for a count of 1. Then, deliberately and slowly, lower your heels back down to the floor over a full 3-second count. As you progress over several weeks, you can lift up on 2 feet and try to lower yourself down using only 1 foot. Focus entirely on making the downward movement as smooth and fluid as possible, and avoid any sudden drops. This movement directly strengthens the structures most involved in balance recovery. It also improves your push-off power when walking, which prevents the foot drag on carpets and uneven surfaces that causes so many stumbles. You can easily do this while brushing your teeth in the morning and evening. Be patient with yourself. There's no rush here. If you found this video helpful so far, please tap the like button and subscribe to our channel. It helps us reach more people who need this. We're building a strong and active community for adults over 60 right here, and your presence truly makes a difference. Let's show that strength has no age limit. All right, back to the video. Movement 5. Weight shift with clock reaches. Standing completely still is a valuable skill. But real life does not happen in a static position. It occurs in constant motion. The unexpected turn, the reach for something on a shelf, the step sideways on an uneven surface. The first 4 movements train the body to stay steady while still. But real life doesn't happen in stillness. It happens in motion. This final movement trains both at once, and it's the closest thing on this list to what the body actually faces every day. It targets the hip stabilizers, deep core, and the body's spatial awareness system, which tracks where the limbs are moving in relation to the body's center of gravity. When this system is sharp, the body adjusts to unexpected movement almost automatically. So, stand on your right leg next to your kitchen counter, keeping your left hand close to the surface for security. Visualize that you're standing directly in the center of a large clock face on the floor. 12 o'clock is straight ahead, 3 o'clock is to your side, and 6 o'clock is directly behind you. Balancing steadily on your right leg, gently extend your left foot forward to tap 12 o'clock lightly with your toe. Return it to the center now. Reach out to tap 3 o'clock. Return to center. Finally, reach backward to tap 6 o'clock. Return to center. Perform a few rotations, then switch your standing leg. While your moving foot is reaching out, your standing leg is constantly adapting, micro-correcting, and managing changing gravity lines. This is the exact training your nervous system needs to stay responsive when you have to dodge a pet moving underfoot, step over a garden hose, or reach deep into a low cupboard. Research on perturbation-based balance training, which works on the same principles of dynamic challenge, suggests that this approach may produce fall reductions of up to 50%. The body learns to recover, not just to stand still. So, keep the counter within reach throughout. Start with very small, controlled reaches and build the range gradually over days. Only expand the size of your clock face as your physical confidence and stability grow. Eleanor still lives alone. Her daughter still calls every Sunday. The question is still the same. But Eleanor's answer has shifted, not in the words, but in what it feels like when she says it. The front porch step no longer requires a moment of anxious calculation. The kitchen turns happen without the wall. The supermarket aisle, the uneven of pavement, even the moment someone moves close without warning, do not feel like quiet risks to manage anymore. They just feel like movement again. She didn't transform her balance in a week. She practiced 10 minutes a day at her kitchen counter. That is what this is, not a cure, not a promise, a reminder. To start, tonight try just the tandem stance. One foot in front of the other at your kitchen counter for 30 seconds while you wait for your evening kettle to boil. That's the entire starting point. If this video helped you, tap the like button and subscribe. And if someone in your life has been unsteady on their feet, share this with them. It takes 1 minute to send, and it could change their lives. Tell us in the comments, which of these movements would you be doing today? Thanks for watching. Move calm, live strong, and I'll see you in the next one.